Welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy, and today I'm here to offer my predictions for the new year of 2021. This is part one of an unnumbered series. That is to say, I don't know exactly how many parts it will take to make a whole prediction for the year of 2021. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. All the details that you need to order your own personal reading is here on the screen. It is also offered below in the show more section or description section. At this time, I ask you to please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Hello, how y'all doing? This is my new fashion for the evening. Okay, now what do I need to do to get to where you are? If I click here. Okay, I'm trying to get to where I can interact with you, maybe. I don't know. And I apologize for the camera being up so close. I don't know. It's always something. I can interact with you, maybe. Okay, that was the sound check. The sound is out. Hi, George. Hi, 1, 2. Hope your holiday was really nice and comfortable, fulfilling, at least pacifying. Okay, y'all know me, and I really don't know where to start or to end. But it's my goal to not go over 1 hour. I would rather limit my videos to 1 hour or less and do multiple parts. I do want to make some predictions, and I will eventually. I plan to make some very generalized predictions at this point in time relative to the year of 2021. Let's see. I think I'm going to make another video for this here. Because what the problem I'm facing today is that I have different subject matters I need to cover. I want to talk about the astrological alignment for December 30th and what it signifies, because it's a very unique setup. And I've mentioned it in prior lives, but I want to go back to it because hello, how are you? I mentioned it in prior live streams, and it has stuck with me and made such an impact that I've continued to go back to this astrological alignment that is present on December 30th, and I've broken it down over and over again. And so I got a message, and I want to deliver it, so I think I'll go live at another time. I'm going to try to stay focused. Then I've also mentioned, I've been mentioning Africa and the Coast of Great Hope multiple times over the last 2 months. I found more information on that, so I want to go back into it. These two subject matters, that is to say, the alignment for December 30th talks about what's taking place in the spirit, and the Coast of Great Hope, when I go into detail, it talks about what's really taking place in the real physical world, the politics of everything that's going on. So I'm going to try to save that for later. I don't know if I can do it or not. And the reason why I don't know if I can do it or not is because the predictions that I'm going to make include all of this information that I share with you in my Aquarius rants and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to try to focus on this particular document I have held together with my hairpin after I read my chat. Okay, Georgia says the holidays, lots of food, and lots of food. Lots of food. Playing refrigerated Tetris. Yeah, that's for, ooh, my refrigerator looks horrible. I've cleaned it out at least twice since right before Christmas, and it's just stuff everywhere. I got a bottle of wine down there. Should have bought it up, but I'll save it for another time. It's all, and I don't want no more of it. I really don't want any more of what's in that refrigerator, but neither do I want to throw it away either. So I got to figure something out. Okay. Let's see how I can do this. What to expect in 2021. Well, what I did is I took a look at the astrological alignments throughout the whole year of 2021. That is to say, I moved from January through December of next year. And so what I've decided to do at this point is to cite the month and a one term that sums up what the month is about. So in some way, this is a very generalized prediction. As mentioned, I'm going to make this a series. I don't know how many parts, and I'll go in detail relative to that which I see occurring. Okay. Oh, I have to give a disclaimer right here. And the disclaimer is about filters, I guess I could say. And what do I mean by filters? A filter, the primary filter that I'm referring to right now is religion. Religion is not spirituality. And I've covered that in previous lives. Religion is not spirituality. And the powers that have existed in the history, over the history of humanity, somehow created this destabilizing mind frame amongst the people of the world. And I'll try to explain what I mean. When I give my interpretations, oftentimes it sounds very religious. Which I know most likely it seems to the viewer that I am imposing my religion into what I present here on my channel. But the truth of the matter is I have no choice but to do so. The messages in the stars say the same thing that's in my Bible. When I read the messages in the stars, I could also parallel it with texts and scripts I've read from other religions or nations or nationalities. I've shared with y'all here on YouTube that when I was in college, I went to school for in art history. I majored in art history. And so I can compare and or parallel that which is in the stars to that which were offered in motifs and different artworks and architecture. It all's the same story, and I've often said that. And what am I saying? I'm saying during this particular series of what to expect in 2021, I will be using oftentimes religious terminology, but I don't know. I don't know how to articulate this. That religion is not, the first thing is religion is not what we thought it was. It's not religion. It's not church. It's not worship and praise. That's not what religion truly is. It is some type of advanced recording or encoding system in which politics and plans are encoded, as well as what is occurring in the spiritual realm. And so again, I'm talking about this because people get turned off when they start hearing you talk about using religious terms or religious texts like the four horsemen of the apocalypse and the coming of Christ. They get turned off for different reasons. Some people don't believe in religion, so they immediately dismiss what you have to say once they hear that type of terminology. Or a person is an orthodox religious person, and they feel like because this channel is like tarot and deals with the various deals with the occult or the oh gosh, what is it called? Divination, that is sacrilegious and it is evil, and they'll dismiss you. And that's what the kind of advanced trick I'm saying that the powers that be created over the years, and I don't know how to explain it. You know, I'm gonna sit with that for a while until I can articulate it effectively, in one phrase. But I just want to let you know that religion is not spirituality. So when I'm talking about spirit, or even the physical realm and our various experiences using religious terms, it is because that's how the powers that be decoded it. I don't know how to say it no other way. That's how they decoded it. End of disclaimer. Hopefully it made sense moving forward. What to expect in 2021. This is a very generalized prediction right at this part. And I'm going by month and offering one single term. And that term is a vague or generalized prediction. In the year of 2021, in January, we can expect comply. February, commission. March, endorsement. April, remorsefulness. May, justification. June, self-deception. July, self-serving. August, affiliated. September, privileged. October, desensitization. November, rejuvenated. December, assimilation. I know that doesn't make much sense to you probably, so I am going to go into detail and try to explain each one of the months and the relative terms that I've chosen as the prediction term title. I don't know. Okay. I'm trying. I have a lot of information, y'all, so I'll be trying to organize it. So in January, as stated, we can expect to comply. And the question becomes, to comply to what? Remember, I consulted the stars throughout the whole year of 2021 to see what to anticipate. So now we're going a little deeper. It is not as deep as to specifically specify any particular occurrence and or event or scenario that may play out, but I'm trying to build up to a full prediction. But in January, it starts with comply. And the question is, comply to what? Well, in January, the people, and I'll just generalize it, the people will be complying with the social constructs. And so at this point in time, I'm going to define social constructs. I have two sets of social constructs, maybe even three. First, I have a set of eight. Oh, another disclaimer. Throughout this whole series, any information that I offer you in detail, relative to definitions, let's see, what do you call it? Or information, citing information, is either from what? www.dictionary.com for definitions, synonyms, etc., etc. I also use Wikipedia, and I'll state when I've cited from Wikipedia, and then will occasionally be different sites, and I'll cite those along the way. My work is to just put the puzzle together. Ask the right questions, extract the information, and put the puzzle together. And that's what I do. So I have many sources that I'll cite. So back to January, the month of complying. What are we complying to? We're complying to the social constructs. What are the social constructs? Oh yeah, in Google. I love Google. I ask Google a question and it answers me. And so Google offered first 18 social constructs. I'm about to list these 18 social constructs because we will be complying with one or more of them. Okay? The first 18 social constructs is society, law, economics, language, concepts, culture, literature, and music, entertainment, art, architecture, traditions, fashion, communications, technology, social worlds, norms, emotions, human behavior. I will try to make it make sense after I list all the social constructs so we understand what we will be complying with. Um, the second response Google gave me when I inquired about what are social constructs, some of these may be repeated. In times past, this is the list that I use, the 11 core constructs. And again, some may be repeated from the first list that I offered. But I offered the first list of constructs because there were some differences. Like, example, it mentioned literature and music. It mentioned art and entertainment, where these other 11 core constructs do not. So here are the other additional 11 core constructs. It is the government. Remember, the government consists of 15 sub-agencies. Then there's race, gender. Then it has femininity and masculinity. It also has illness, which is relative to healthcare. It is marriage, family, organized religion, technology, deviance, which corresponds with the judicial system, and education. And then I want to add at the end another construct is the actual infrastructure, and the infrastructure is like roads, railways, bridges, tunnels, water supplies, water sewers, electrical grids, power plants, telecommunication. Or it's any physical components of interrelated systems providing commodities and services essential to enable, sustain, and enhance societal conditions and maintain the surrounding environment. That's from Diggity Day. I'm trying to slow down. Wasn't even trying to catch up, just slow down, and they threw me off. What the heck? Mm-mm-mm. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if they allow it to pick back up. I do believe it has picked back up. I'll see. What was I going to do before my live stream ended? Hopefully I saw where it ended. I was about to try to simplify our relationship with these various constructs. So what am I saying is going to occur in July? I mean, not July, January. Throwing me off. I'm going to stay slowed down. The stars foretell that the people of the world will comply with whatever construct they are interacting with and or participating with. This varies from person to person. The constructs that I interact with or participate with are most likely different or differ from the ones that you participate with, to some degree. I'm not married. You may be. When involved in the social construct of marriage, what does that consist of? It says you're going to comply with whatever that is. Others are in school, K through higher education. At this present time, I'm not a part or participating in that construct of education, but there's some that are. And whatever the criteria are relative to participating in education, you will comply with. And so I want to offer an example because I don't want to just keep going over it over and over again. I'm going to use education as an example. What does it mean to comply? Well, it says in January of 2021, as an example, remember I mentioned all those core constructs because those various core constructs that I cited here creates the various possibilities of what can occur for either one of us. I mean, it's a whole lot of different storylines taking place. But an example of a storyline is a person that is involved with K through 12. A youngster going to school. What does it look like in 2021? Well, I visited my local school district to find out, or I might be jumping again, but I'm going to jump it. Where is it at? Yeah, I don't know, of course. I tried to keep it in order. But I'm going to give you an example of what I mean relative to education. When I went to my local school district, it listed some changes that have been put in place as a direct result of the vid. And in order for a student to participate in the educational system or construct, they have to fit within the parameters of the demands or the requirements. An example is students will have an opportunity to continue their education in 3 different ways. I'm going off the top of my head because I can't remember and I can't find my notes. One is that they can take online classes. 2, they can have, I think it's called face-to-face, meaning they literally go to the school and interact in the school with the instructors. If a child chooses to participate in the educational system online, then there's further regulations, such as will these children get free lunch? Will additional benefits, if their family receives any food assistance, increase in order to make sure that that child has a meal? You know, that's what I mean. This is what's going to happen in 2021 relative to the construct of education. A child that stays home and takes classes online has to sign in at a particular time. They have to be dressed like they're going to class. They have to, again, it has to be determined if they're staying at home, having classes online, if additional funds will be added to, if they receive, what do they call it, free lunches, money will be added to their, what do they call it, like welfare case to make sure that child eats. This is what is going to continue to occur in the year of 2021. If a child decides to do face-to-face, meaning literally go to the school, well, then there are other regulations taking place. If a child goes to school, and this also includes the teachers as well, it says, hey, you have to practice safety measures. There will be social distancing. There's no more than 20 kids in a class. We're moving classes from in the classroom into like gymnasium, so it's more space. You have to wear the face mask. You have to sanitize. You have to continue to have your health check or temperature checks and to look for symptoms. These are all the requirements that students have to abide by in order to receive their education face-to-face. And there's a whole list. I just can't find it. And then there's a third option where a child can go to another site or some site as far as a physical building, and they can log on from that building to participate in school. And that has its own set of requirements or regulations to be followed. Now, as mentioned, this is going to be a series because I want to go into more detail and offer some truly on point. I want to offer the best predictions that you'll find for 2021. And so it has to be done in phases. So I can try to keep it in order. So that is an example of what January is about. You will comply. I don't know, again, what social constructs you participate with, but you will be complying with their regulations. That has to do with, what do you call it, recipients, a person that accesses a service or something like that. It also has to do with the employees. You will comply. The employers will comply. The employees will comply. And the recipients or the consumers, you will comply. In February, we will, oh, I know what it was. Comply. Let me finish, go a little further about this comply. Okay, when we start talking about complying with any given social construct that you may participate in, what are you truly complying with? Well, you're complying with their operating procedures. I'm trying to go into much detail, y'all, as possible. their operating procedures. So I went to Wikipedia, and well, let's talk about operating procedures. Standard operating procedures, or SOP, is a set of step-by-step instructions compiled by an organization to help workers carry out routine operations. SOPs aim to achieve efficiency, quality output, and uniformity of performance, while reducing miscommunications and failure to comply with industry regulations. And I read that sarcastically because oftentimes when we experience our reality and various scenarios unfold, and when we receive information and instructions, I don't think that most people truly understand what's being imposed upon them. Let me try to make that make sense. This paragraph I just read said that the standard operating procedure of any given one of those social constructs that you may be involved with, whether it's education, the government, relationships, or whatever the case may be, or sustaining or holding the infrastructure, meaning you work for the system somehow. There is an operating procedure in every last one of those departments. And the reason those operating systems are there is to make sure that efficiency is achieved, there's a quality output, and there is uniformity of performance, meaning you're going to do your job, while reducing miscommunications. You won't say you don't understand the rules. You won't say you didn't know what you had to do. You won't say you don't know what was expected of you. And failure to comply. I'm talking about the employers, the employees, and the recipients with the industry regulations. Now, I am going somewhere with this. Hopefully, you will ride the wave with me until I get there. We'll see. You know I'm long-winded. Moreover, when talking about operating procedures, other things to look at that are the same or similar are procedures, work method statements, safe work procedures, these various checklists that come with any construct, a run book, a code of conduct, the GXP, I'm not going to go into detail about that right now, protocol, operations research, quality control, rules of engagement, and the bureaucracy of any given social construct. What am I talking about when I'm talking about all that? I'm talking about how you, me, and the majority of humanity, we gonna comply with these various social constructs. You gonna comply. I'm going somewhere with this. Oh yeah. I want to jump back to the school. Remember, I used my school district as an example of a person that participate in the construct of education. Another one of the requirements that has been established as a direct result of the vid, you know, that thing we going through, is that it has to be, any vid cases must be reported, either self-reported or the teachers have to report any illnesses, symptoms, etc., to a, what do you call it? Oh gosh. To a hotline. I'll say a hotline. Okay, I'm gonna let go. I just need to put that out there because I'm going somewhere with it. I'm trying. Okay. Anywho, in the month of February, because I'm moving too slow, I offered that example. Right now, that's the last example. Oh man. Okay, this February. Okay. In February, we will be commissioned to what? Commission to what? What does it mean to be commissioned? Well, commission is, in February, we will be commissioned to what? Well, to your preferred career, meaning you going back to work. Or the only job you qualify for, you going back to work. Or your area of expertise, you're going back to work. The world is going to begin to work again. I'm not saying going back to normal, because we never going back to normal. But the world is going to open back up. I don't know what area you work in, but what I do know is that you work in one or more of the various social constructs. Of course, the details are unique to you. And because you work for one of those various social constructs, or you move to sustain the infrastructure that allows us to obtain services and things like that, you're going to, what? Comply with the various operating procedures. When we're dealing with being commissioned or holding a job or a position that upholds our social construct, our world social construct overall, these are the things that are going to be the areas that are going to be highly spotlighted in 2021. It is dependent, of course, this is the complication. What course construct are we talking about? Let's say, hypothetically, we're talking about the governmental or the .gov and a specific sub-agency, namely agriculture, in some form or another. You may be a person that works in relationship to agriculture or the distribution of what? Food. You work in a grocery store, a Myers, a Kroger's, or whatever grocery store or food chain or whatever is out here. Agriculture. There's going to be issues, new issues that are going to rise about who gets what. Distribution issues. There's also going to be increasing debates over the prices. And those prices may very well be directly related to who gets what. Let me try to clarify. There are certain demographics of people that will receive their distribution of resources, or in this case, agriculture, fruits, vegetables, whatever food. The prices are anticipated to go up for certain groups over another. Overall, the price is going up, but certain demographic groups, the prices are going to be astronomical. What is going to occur in 2021, still dealing or using the example that I've offered of, being in the field of agriculture and the distribution of those type of resources, which is food, and the prices going up through the roof. It is about going to be the ethics behind, or the governing ethics behind that distribution of food and the prices. What we will find is an increase degeneration in ethical behavior that suggests that the qualities of food will diminish. Again, the prices will be extremely high. And it also is an intentional distribution of, how can I say this, quality foods to one area, but not another. Then what we can expect to be on an increase in 2021, hopefully I'm making this make sense. I'm trying to move slow, y'all, to try to make it make sense, it's about the promotion strategies that will be used. It is expected, it is anticipated that they will use influencers. We know about influencers here online, on TV, whatever, stars, influencers and social media. It is digital marketing that will be used excessively to the point that it even becomes annoying. It will be a very manipulative and very persuasive. So I want to go on a little bit more detail about, and again, y'all, I thank you for your patience, but it's me delivering these messages are so complicated because, again, there's so many different social structures that we engage with. And I guess the best way to try to digest what I'm talking about is to look at a person that works for a social construct. And usually I point out the government because it's the head of state and it covers basically everything, regulates everything. And in 2021, I put it like this: in times past, we thought that people were lacking integrity and ethics. But 2021 is ushering in a whole new expression of deteriorated ethics. I don't know how to say it any other way. I'm trying. So, when I'm talking about influencers and social and digital marketing, I'm talking about people being manipulated or persuaded or even receiving subliminal messages that compel them to make purchases that they cannot afford and really create a hardship or burden in their life. This is going to be on the rise in in 2021. Now I'm going to stop. How far along am I? I'm about to go through the rest of the year, and I'm going to do so quickly. I just want to offer a couple of examples, hopefully to kind of make what I'm doing make sense, how I'm trying to organize this. Just so much information. Okay. This is 2, 3. Started on February. Preview. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. So what I'm about to do now, that I offer some examples, y'all. After this, I'm going to end this live stream, and then I have to come back and do a part 2 relative to my predictions at another time, hopefully in the next few days. I'm going to go and offer, I'm about to move forward and offer a preview of what to expect in 2021. As stated, and I tried to share an example of, is that in January we will begin to comply. I have written here, the people will comply with any and all worldly mandates within their power. What am I saying? If your job tells you to push a button, you're going to push the button. If they say that you have to have a vaccination, you're going to take the vaccination. Any and all worldly mandates, the majority of the people will comply. In February, remember, we will all have our commissions. That is to say that you've been took your relative job or began to stand in your social role. I have written here, the people will adhere to authorities for benefits. Why are you going back to work? Whether it's your area of expertise, or if it's the only job you can get because that's all you what's the word, are eligible for, or if you, what's the other one I wrote? How I wrote that? If it's just your career that you choose, your selective career. Why? It is because you need resources. You need money. So what am I saying? People are going back to work in 2021 to uphold our new social structure. And they're doing so First of all, because they need money to keep a roof over their head, to pay their bills, etc., etc. Anywho, I stopped reading. Let me read. The people will adhere to authorities for benefits without any true understanding about what's being sacrificed. So I think I'll go back like that now. So this should go more smoother. What am I saying? I'm saying so in the stars say in February will be commissioned, meaning we going back to work. Whether it's your career, your area of expertise, or that's the only job you can get, you're going back to work. If it exists in our new world order, you going to work. And the reason why you're going to work is because you need some money. Number one, you need some health care. You need some money. You need to know the bills are paid. Yada, yada, yada. We know this. It says, but on a spiritual level, people really don't know. They don't understand what's going on. They don't understand where we're headed. And they don't understand what is being sacrificed. Okay. Let me stop. Another complication. I'm trying to deal in the physical, the spiritual, and with bureaucracy. This is not religious, it's spiritual. It is reality, and it's the bureaucracy. I continue. In March, remember the term, the predictive term is endorsement. What does that mean? It says the people will embrace their relative social roles or jobs or careers, therefore endorsing the sector they participate in. In return, they will begin to have purpose. What does this suggest? That statement suggests to me, and maybe it should suggest to you. It's saying since the world's population has been dealing with this vid pandemic thing, and people have lost their jobs, have been laid off, are working from home, whatever the case may be, whatever the details that are unique to your life, that most of us have lost our sense of purpose and of hope. And a lot of us are feeling down and depressed. The astrological energies for March of 2021 says once the world opens back up and we get back to business and we take our relative jobs, that our sense of purpose returns to us and we begin to feel better. We begin to feel better. I just made a video not too long ago that said it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And the stars are showing it's going to begin, it's going to be okay, and it's going to increasingly be better in 2021. So in March, as mentioned, we will be endorsing the social construct that we work for, that we uphold, that we participate in. We feeling pretty good. You know, things are back on track. We're earning enough money to, buy food, to pay our bills, to take our trips. Next is April. Remember the predictive term is remorsefulness. As people perform their duties and their own works, they become aware that business is shady and questionable. They will experience remorse. What am I saying? I'm saying that the stars say by April, the people in general begin to feel the sense of remorse. It's somewhat of a dark night of the soul. It's an inner reflection. Yes, the world has opened back up. We're working now. The various social constructs are moving and clicking and ticking. We're going to work, school, this, we're marrying, we partying, we doing whatever we do. Still having to practice safety, of course. But how can I say, as we do our works within these social constructs, as we participate in these various social constructs, we sense that something ain't right. But even though we sense that something ain't right, we keep on endorsing them, meaning we keep on going to work. And we keep on going to work because we need the money. We need us to be okay. We're starting to feel better. But we are so sure, each of us, that something ain't right, to the point we feel remorse or guilt for our participation. For not opening our mouths, for not whistleblowing, we feel remorse. Okay. The next month is May, and the predictive term is justification. It says, after reflection, the people determine that they are personally experiencing a comeback. You feeling better? Recovery of their self-worth. Wow. And will justify their works and the structure of the construct they endorse. What am I saying? I'm saying, hey, by May, after that, going through that state of remorse and knowing something ain't quite right, or knowing something ain't quite right, and ain't opening your mouth because you don't want to go back to those hard times where you was feeling hopeless, if you didn't know if you was going to pay your bills, and you don't want to be homeless, you don't want to ask nobody, you be like, hey, I'm feeling a little better now. I'm feeling a little better now. So what I know I've been seeing, experiencing, sensing at work, or in these various social constructs, I'm going to ignore. I'm going to ignore. Why? Because I'm feeling better. I feel much better. I got a sense of purpose now. I'm recovering. And so we will justify us pushing those buttons on behalf of that social construct. We will justify our works relative to that social construct because we feel better. Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about when I talk about the justification period. We justify. We can pay our bills. We can buy our kids new school clothes. We got food to eat. We are stimulating the economy. We are active participants in this world, in the recovery of this world. We're all feeling better. So it's okay. Justification. But we know, deep down in our souls, something wrong. Okay. Remember, this is a generalized prediction. I'm going to try to go in deeper, doing another part. This is part 1. Trying to move forward in under an hour, and I think I'm going to do it. Got 10 more minutes. So we just left off with May, now June. June, the predictive term is self-deception. Self-deception. The people will be caught up in their ego. You feel so good. You are recovered. You got a sense of purpose. You ain't nowhere where you were in the year 2020, when you didn't have no job. You didn't know if your rent was going to be paid. You felt like crap. You were hurting emotionally. You were sad. You were depressed. You was thinking about robbing folks or doing all kind of stuff. You're nowhere near that. So at that point in time, you healed. You healed. And all along, when you were having that comeback, it was upholding, perching up your ego. And by June, your ego is perched back up. You're somebody special. The people will be caught up in their ego. They will be delusional and blind. So what am I saying? I'm saying in June, because we heal and we're not afraid anymore. We're back to taking our trips, living our best life. Our ego has been boosted up, and we have become inflated with self. And a spiritual transformation happens. That spiritual transformation is where you can't see truth anymore. Right here, I'm going to stop. And now I'm about to use showing up religious terms and ideologies. Because when I was studying the stars for next year, it went right back to the religious texts and Revelations. And it talks about this, and let me give a example or a summary of the story that's told in the book of Revelations, the best I can remember it. And remember this, I'm not trying to convert anybody. What I'm really talking about is not religious. It is, right now I'm talking about truly spiritual subject matters that we are really dealing with. And I want to articulate what I'm talking about successfully, but it's so challenging. The best idea I can put in your mind is that although we are physical, there's something that animates us. And it's the spirit, it's the soul within us that allows us to hear, to think, to truly experience this individualized experience. When that spirit and soul leaves off this flesh body, this clay vessel, this vessel drops and the spirit move on. That right there is what has been made to look religious. I'm not talking about religion, but I'm using these religious terms that the powers that be compile to talk about the spirit and soul whilst in the physical body. Still trying to describe it. So this spiritual transformation happens between May and June. And I'm supposed to tell you the story in Revelations. It's a story in Revelations that talks about when Antichrist comes. I can't remember how exactly it goes, but the Antichrist comes on the scene in the world, and the world is going through so much turmoil and chaos. The people are afraid, they lost. It's just a lot of uncertainty. And so the Antichrist steps up and it gives a remedy to the world's ills. And the people that are in Christ can see and recognize the Antichrist and reject the Antichrist. In Hollywood, they're called the believers. They can identify Satan, they can reject Satan, and stand up for Christ, for truth, for the actual consciousness. But then there are the others that have been so wounded and so dependent upon this physical world that when the Antichrist comes with this remedy to the ills of the world, they jump on. And they can't see, they can't recognize, they can't discern the Antichrist, that he's evil, and that his ultimate plan is just take their soul. So anywho, these people that become a part of the new world order no longer can see righteousness. They rejoice, they uphold, they endorse the Antichrist and unrighteousness. End of story. Summary of the story scenario in Revelations. That scenario that I just offered is crazy. Yeah, I know it's crazy, y'all. But that's what the year 2021 is. That's what that story symbolizes. What has been planned or foreseen to occur for 2021. I know I'm moving slow, but if you pay attention, as I went through the various months and the predictive terms, it's a period of complying with whom? Like the Antichrist and his remedy. It is taking your relative place, that now that you've made your choice to follow the Antichrist. And then it's this moment of you going and working under the Antichrist and seeing that something ain't right. It's unrighteous. It's evil. Something dark or demonic about what's taking place. Some things you can put your hand on, others you can't. But you know something wrong. But the thing of it is, you in your physical body, this flesh body that's so high demand, is feeling a whole lot better than it did in 2020. This is the storyline. And it says, once you realize you feeling better, then you are able to justify upholding the unrighteousness or the Antichrist. That's what it said when I interpret the stars. I try to simplify it by the time I get here, y'all. I'll tell you that. I've been working on this for several days. I've gone back over interpreting the stars multiple times, over and over again, simplifying it down to as the basics as I could. And I still came up with the same scenario, still came up with the storyline that is parallel to the story in the book of Revelation. You get to the point where you ignore the majority of the world's population, gets to the point where they ignore that we are living in some unrighteous times, and they uphold the or endorse at the Antichrist. And in that, they lose themselves. They lose the ability to connect to the consciousness of the Christ consciousness, that consciousness of righteousness, and of having being in tune with your higher self. That means to care, to be willing to stand up against that which is unrighteous or detrimental to those outside of yourself. They lose all of that. In this year, in this upcoming year, 2021, the majority of the world's population will lose their ability to be humane and to be empathetic to others outside of themselves. So I ain't just talking about people on the other side of the world. I'm talking about the stars are saying anybody outside of your own physical vessel and your own physical experience, you really don't care about. And that's the story of the Antichrist. Anywho, so I'm going to read my chat. Then I'm come back, finish the last few months because I'm just over an hour, but I'm very, very close. So once again, I'm very proud of myself. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Don't forget Manifest Destiny was waged on the world by Europe, which was the first social construct, real loud, to take any lands from people who are non-Christians, basically intimate domain of the world. You doing good. Thank you for your knowledge. It's deep. It's deep. Ain't it? I know I'm too deep and I'm too real. People can't handle the truth. I want to go on a rant about that too. But I'm okay. I am so okay with it. I am so okay with it, but I don't want to extend this. So okay, we go through the justification, and now we go through the self-deception, meaning you can't even see you unrighteous no more. You don't even care no more. Why? Because you feeling good. You feel better. You got purpose. You having to making a comeback and a recovery. I am too real, and I realize that. I got a sidebar. My daughter said that, Mama, you so long-winded. Don't nobody want to hear that. She said, I don't want to hear that. I was like, I understood. I understood. Another concept I have a hard time conveying is when the truth is long-winded. And it's not just me. I'm sure Jesus Christ was long-winded. Dr. Martin Luther King had charisma, but his truth was long-winded. There's a lot of people out here speaking the truth, and they long-winded. And does long-winded save your life? And I'm not really just talking about talking, but I'm talking about the extent and the depth that you have to go into and give yourself over to the truth and understand and see what's really going on. If that crazy Bible really has the truth in it that I have come to believe that it does now, it is our responsibility to be that deep. I don't know how to say it. It's our responsibility to be that deep. But most of us aren't. We're very shallow, very shallow. And this is the part, it calls for us, if I'm correct, but we won't know until the end, to be that deep. That's a lot. I can't even see the majority of the world's population being that open and that to partaking in that depth to truly understand what's going on, not just here in the physical, but here in the spirit. I just can't even see it. So I do have my concerns, y'all. I tell you I have these various type of concerns because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem very fair and or balanced, or in the favor of the people of humanity. But that's me digressing. I mean, that's me. I'm about to digress and go back and finish this year up. And so now we're in this deception. Then in July, the predictive term. I've been up with that. I gotta get some new pens. It's always me needing a new pen. Predictive term. And for July, it's self-serving. July, it says that we become so caught up in our egos that we will be self-seeking, fully self-involved, and cannot see the social impact. And how does that look in reality? Well, imagine a person working for the social construct, the .gov, in the, what do they call it, human resources department, I think it's called. That's when people that are struggling can't make it and they need assistance and they go and apply for benefits. Remember, there's something pretty shady and unorthodox and what was it? Shady, and it was another term I used, going on behind the scenes of this new world order that we're presently in. I know it sounds religious. This is what the stars indicate. And so you are a worker under this construct. You are, what do you call it, a social worker. And a client comes to sit before you and say, hey, I need assistance. I need food, or I need help with housing. Well, that person, as an example, like wouldn't look for any loopholes in order to help that person. Most likely, example, they'll take the easy way out and say, well, you do not fit within the parameters of our rules or our regulations, so we can't help you find housing and or benefits. How might a person not fit within the parameters of the rules or regulations associated with that social construct? Talking about the .gov. Well, the person may make $1 too much, or they may not have been employed long enough to, receive benefits, or I mean, it could be any number of excuses why this person can't acquire assistance through that social construct. And the person, the social worker, doesn't, again, look for any loopholes to try to help the person. They're okay with upholding and endorsing that social constructs unrighteous, not the term I wanted to use because I'm trying not to use religious terms, practices, or unethical practices. But that person, again, feels justified in their work, and they are seeking to satisfy themselves in their physical world, own personal physical worldly wants, needs, and desires by July. I'm going to add this here. Of course, it depends on what demographic area a person lives in. But I believe that July will be a hot month as far as violent activities, especially in like the bigger cities. Because what? Each individual that has lost themselves over to this new state of consciousness that does not allow them to express their higher self, or to be in tune with their Christ self, will commit various crimes that allow them to be crimes that uphold their self self-servedness. What am I saying? Let me try to say that another way because I'm all over the place. That people are going to be so egotistical and self-serving, they're going to do whatever it takes to pacify them and what they want. So that suggests then additional crimes or the increase in crimes by July 2021, especially in major cities. Why more major cities than urban areas? Well, it's a larger concentration of people in the inner city. There's a larger concentration of different uh, cultures in inner cities, and also a lack of education, higher education, and different things like that. There's a difference between those type of crimes and white collar crimes, even though white collar crimes are going to go up too. Um, just the crimes end up manifesting differently. I'll go into that later on. Try to move faster. Okay, August. The predictive term is affiliated. In August, the people are now fully integrated into the matrix. I use the term matrix because it trends. We all know what it's talking about. We're talking about the world. We're talking about the new world order and the various social constructs that create our overall world construct. So people are fully integrated into the matrix. Wherever you work, you're okay with the work you do, you upholding it, you endorsing it, etc., etc. You feeling good, you're able to pay your bills, etc., etc., take your trips or whatever. It says, and now in full acceptance of who they really are, of who you really are, moves to unite with entities, forces, and people that are alike. What am I saying? I'm saying in the month of October, remember, the predictive term is affiliated. And come August, you okay with whomever you are. Whatever works you do and how you do them to endorse that construct, you okay. It's like people realize that they are antagonists. You know you antagonist. Come August, you know if you're an antagonist or not. Now, and when I say that, you're not going to just be an antagonist at work, for whatever social construct you upholding in or endorsing through your work. You're an antagonist there. You won't go the extra mile to find a loophole to help your fellow man. No, you're going to send them packing. The people will be homeless. They won't be able to get help. They won't be able to get food, etc., etc. You're not going to drop that gem for them to be able to try to move on and have things pan out in their favor. You won't go the extra miles, what I'm saying. But that those antagonistic character traits won't be just left to work. They will also cross the border because now this is who you really are, into your home, into your relationships. That's to say you're going to be equally as ugly and dismissive of those around you, those outside of yourself, whether it's family, friends, associates, and or neighbors. It just depends on how you feel about them. Now, if it's a person that's quite like yourself, another antagonist, and they're quite ugly, you two may very well get along. Okay. Then in September, the predictive term is privileged. So it says that by September you feel like you are the king of the hill. You have a sense and a state of favor in an uncertain world. You okay. Now, another person may not be okay. They may be homeless, hungry, don't know if they gonna be able to pay their bills, whatever. They see the ills in the world. These are the people that will be whistleblowers. They still Christ-like. They still righteous. They are, what's the term that's frequent trending? They're conspiracy theorists. They're going to be the conspiracy theorists. See, now, come 2021, the conspiracy theorists are the Christ-like consciousness. They are the examples of the righteous. And, and so, in this, come September, you have such a sense of peace and a sense and a state of favor in this world. Again, the world is uncertain, but it ain't you going through the troubles. It ain't you having a problem. You know what I'm saying? You by September next year, many people will be like, oh, all you got to do is comply, do what's told to you. You should, it's a very judgmental. By September, many people will be very judgmental. You should just do this. You should just take the vaccination. You should just do this. You should just do that. If you find yourself homeless, sick, you can't get help, well, that was you. You should have did what you're supposed to do. Again, very judgmental and dismissive of others. Now, at this time, I'm going to refer back to the book of Revelations in the King James Version and alike scriptures. And this is the period of the mark of the beast. It's crazy. I know y'all like, Nancy, you tripping, you making up stuff, but no. This is, come September, is the period of the mark of the beast, y'all. This is some deep stuff. I don't go into my studying and researching and different things like this, looking to compare it to the Bible. That's what the stars say when you interpret it. It is comparable, completely comparable to the mark of the beast. So at this time, I'm going to refer you to a video I made some time ago. And I do believe it's called the 144,000 talked about in the Bible, or for dummies. It say for dummies. I did something like that, for dummies. And I meant to look up the title. 144,000 spoken about in the Bible. And the reason why I'm referring you to that video is because I'm contending that September is the period in which people will be marked with the mark of the beast, that infamous 666. And in that video, I talk about what I've come to understand about the mark of the beast. Remember, I'm not talking religious. I'm talking truly spiritual. When I say truly spiritual, I'm talking about for real. The day you die, your soul and spirit step out your body and your clay vessel drop. That spirit right there. And is understand when dealing with the spirit as well as the physical, but especially the spirit. See, the physical can be manipulated. That spirit can't. Those facts, the truth about what is occurring in your spirit is incontestable. It will be incontestable. Meaning can't nobody argue, can't nobody change it, can't nobody manipulate it. Go watch that video. And I'm saying that, no, it's not a physical mark in your right hand. It's not a physical mark in your forehead. It is not. It is the works that you do with your hand. Either you gonna find a loophole with that hand, or you gonna send somebody to starve with that hand. If you're going to use your mind or your intellect to think of things that benefit humanity and enhance our experience here in this physical world, or you're going to use your mind to create science, engineering, and technology in a way that is detrimental to humanity, physically and in the spirit. Ooh, that's what the Bible says. Fear those that can kill both the physical body and the spirit. So anyway, I refer you to that because the timeline is here now. Unbelievable. Then in October is the period, the predictive term is desensitization. It says the people are fully desensitized to others and unethical, y'all know the term I'm trying to say, energies, including their own works. So I'm going to try to state that again because unethical. Okay. So I'm saying by October of 2021, well, by September 2021, people literally have received the mark of the beast. It is not a physical, again, stamp in the hand or the forehead. It ain't even the consumption of the nanoparticles. I'll go into that another time. It is the work of your hands and how you use your intellect and to influence the state of humanity at the time you exist. That is the mark of the beast. It is incontestable. It's something that can't be changed by man or any other entity. And so once the person has, quote unquote, the mark of the beast, 666, as I just defined, and also defined in that video, in the 10th month, which is October, you say you totally desensitized. Remember, you get to the point where first you're blind, you can't see. Well, by October, you totally desensitized. You don't even see, recognize, discern that unethical practices exist and that there are unethical energies at play. Um, and you're not aware of your own unethical or unrighteous works. This is some deep stuff. This is the stars. This ain't me. I just interpreted the stars without referring to the Bible. Just after interpretation, the Bible storyline fit so perfectly. Just sit it right on top of it. Okay, then in November, the predictive term is rejuvenated. It says the people's faith in life has been restored. Whose faith in life? Well, it seems like the majority of the world's population, faith has restored. The tarot cards did say everything was going to be okay, and it is. But there is a loss that takes place, and it is a people's soul. It's of the soul. People are going to, keeping with the Bible, choose to worship the Antichrist. Everything's going to be okay. You will have a restored sense of faith in life. You will. Everything's going to be okay. You are completely rejuvenated. At this time, which is November of 2021, the Antichrist now fully rules this realm. What does it mean? We're not talking about a physical person per se, but we're talking about a state of consciousness. The Antichrist represents a state of consciousness. As mentioned, by this time period, people can't see unethical practices anymore. They can't see their own unethical works and practices and just overall unrighteousness in this world. They can't see it anymore. That is the Antichrist against the Christ consciousness, void of the Christ consciousness about which is right and wrong and ethical and in the best interest of humanity overall. It's gone. Okay, and then in the close of 2021 is December. The predictive term is assimilation. A simulation. A simulation. No. Simulation. Anywho, I have written here the astrological alignment that occupies the 12th house, if I'm not mistaken, at the close of the year. It's interesting. It's really interesting. And the astrological alignment is Jupiter. Is 0 degrees 29 Pisces. Well, Jupiter in there. Jupiter's in the 0 degree 29 of Pisces. And that, let's talk about this astrological alignment, because this astrological alignment represents, like Pisces represents the collective. It's the collective subconscious. It's the collective, even, the subconscious. But it's the subconscious that ends up manifesting into reality. What am I saying? I'm saying after all our life experiences, everything is incontestable. What happens, happens. I ain't talking about the hopes. I ain't talking about the wishes. I'm talking about the reality. I'm talking about the impact it has on you on an emotional level. That ends up manifesting, creating our reality. That's how you create, the future is created. And so Pisces represents that. So it talks about the actual state of the world at the close of 2021, how it looks. Well, it says that relative to Jupiter, Jupiter represents your intellect, your conscious awareness. It's at 0. It's a new beginning of how to think. And what have I been saying a new thought pattern is? It is that of the Antichrist. Is that of the Antichrist. I have written here, dominion has been established. Dominion who? The Antichrist. And I'm not talking about a physical being. I'm talking about a state of consciousness and awareness. And its betrayal strongly moves forward on behalf of the matrix, the system, the beast. What am I saying in closing? I'm saying by the closing of 2021, a new consciousness is established. So I want to talk about the new consciousness being established. If you follow astrology, you may be aware that the planet Saturn and the planet Jupiter have been conjunct. I think the conjunction began on December 25th. We referred to it as the Christmas star. Well, it will be conjunct for some time as Jupiter moves through the whole zodiac wheel. It takes 12 years. And Capricorn, to make a complete evolution around the heavens is 30 years. So that is to say, every 60 years, these two planets cross paths. And that, again, that just happened December 25th of 2020. Why do I bring it up? Because once we achieve a state of consciousness and awareness, that I talk about this when I talk about the same concept when dealing with downloads or channeling. The Christ consciousness that has been offered to humanity has contents to it. And there's also a seal around it or a perimeter around it. And the Christ consciousness, you know, the perimeter say you can't hate. You don't kill. You honor everybody. You being your higher self. Now, that's the perimeter. Anything outside of that ain't Christ consciousness. Inside Christ consciousness, it gives all these definitions. It says love, honor, respect, uphold, be empathetic. You know, it gives you all the rules of the consciousness, how to think, and therefore how to act relative to Christ or Christ consciousness. The closing, I'm trying to get it, the closing of 2021, we find ourselves with a new predominant consciousness. And that new predominant consciousness is the Antichrist. And the Antichrist, too, has that Saturn ring, or that outer perimeter, or that seal, or that proximity. And it doesn't allow in it ethics. That's outside. That has nothing to do with the Antichrist or this particular type of consciousness. Love don't have nothing to do with, don't even fit in that circle. Remember, inside the circle, it defines what the Antichrist is. And it ain't love. That's outside. A person ain't even aware of love, commitment, dedication, longevity. They ain't even, but inside the Antichrist, it says it's selfishness. It's self-serving. It's self-seeking. It's gratification. It's instant gratification. It is do without will is the law of the land, that Aleister Crowley, campaign. All of that fits into the proximity or into the seal or into the circle of the Antichrist. That particular consciousness that we will find is the predominant consciousness by the close of December 2021. And the rule of the beast that's spoken of in the Bible, the Antichrist, will be in full effect. Thank you for coming here to Can Angels Fly Tarot and more, and allowing me to offer you part 1 of my 2021 predictions. As mentioned, this is part 1. I will be performing other parts, and I will go into more detail in order to make very specific predictions about what we can expect for 2021. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Until next time, bye.